We weren't in alignment as a team. I tend to hold things internally, like with how I'm feeling about something. I might have struggled to be as open or as honest. Why isn't it being completed, or why can't it be completed? What are the bottlenecks of the company, or like what's the bottleneck of the task? All right, hi. I am Jessica Mascari, and I am the Finance and Administration Executive here at Empower Accounting Services. We are an accounting firm based in Santa Clarita, California. I work alongside Elaine Winslow, who is the CEO of the company. There was a lot going on, both personally and professionally. I think professionally with the team, we were kind of just working in the day-to-day. We weren't really working as intentional as we wanted to be. We didn't focus on numbers. We didn't focus on planning. We kind of just focused on our clients and really dedicated our time to our clients and made sure that everything was completed for clients, but then we forgot to work on the business. And we weren't in alignment as a team. We weren't as organized. The structure wasn't there. We all wanted different things. We all knew what we wanted to do in the company, but it wasn't discussed. What's our target? Where do we want to see ourselves in 3 years, 5 years? That was not discussed. Again, it was just day to day. How can we get this done for the client today? Keep all the clients in compliance. We didn't focus on us as a business. Yeah, and then personally, I think for me, that was around the time that Elaine had also asked me to work with her, work alongside her more. And at that time, I definitely lacked the confidence because I never had a leadership position to lead a team, or at least it wasn't defined. So I was doing it, not knowing it, and that was easier than putting a title on it. So it definitely helped me look at my limiting beliefs. I just thought I didn't have the confidence for it. I didn't have the experience, so I thought I couldn't do it. And so working with you really helped me focus on limiting beliefs and shifting mindset. And so, yeah, that was a lot of what was going on prior to working with you. It definitely allowed us to be vulnerable because we talked about our weaknesses. We talked about limiting beliefs, and it was a lot of vulnerability, and it was a lot of honesty to myself and also with the team. It allowed us to kind of talk about it with you, and then it allowed us to talk about it with Elaine, or for me, I was able to talk about it with Elaine where I might have struggled before. I might have struggled to be as open or as honest, just because I tend to hold things internally, just like with how I'm feeling about something. And so this whole process allowed me to be more open and share my ideas, and just allowed me to be more comfortable and work more in alignment with the team. I learned to reflect more. I learned to prioritize more, or at least prioritize more efficiently. Professionally, it also helped me organize our systems internally. So that was part of one of my roles here at the company, is to help with standard operating procedures. And we had written all of that out, but it wasn't centralized. It wasn't as organized. It wasn't as detailed. And so during our work together, that's what we got to focus on, and even with the help of Notion, because we didn't know anything about that. So that allowed us to centralize our procedures and have all of our documents organized. And working with you also helped us with quarterly sprint plannings because we had never done anything like that before. So the in-person meeting was very personable. It allowed us to brainstorm all together as a team. And again, it was a moment to be vulnerable. What are the bottlenecks of the company, or like what's the bottleneck of the task, and why isn't it being completed, or why can't it be completed? And so it allowed us to open up with one another and figure out a solution to really complete the goal, get to the goal, and really get to the target. I would say for me, it helped me define my purpose. Working with you helped me define my purpose both personally and professionally, and find out how they can align with one another. It allowed me to really reflect on, okay, can I perform for this role? And prior to working with you, I was shy. I did not have that confidence. And now, even reflecting back on the answers that I had the first time around that you and I worked together, and then coming back to those same practices and questions and exercises that we worked on a year later, I already saw such a big shift in mindset, and really just reflecting on myself as a person and how much I've grown, and I never reflected on that in the past. So it's crazy to see how much you change in a year, especially with all of the reflecting that we do together, talking about energy, talking about productivity, coming up with all the resources to help us move forward. Or if I'm stuck on something, talking that out with you so that you can shift my mindset, or integrating personal and professional life. That can be really difficult, especially in an accounting firm. It gets crazy with all the compliance filings. It gets hectic. And so it's awesome to talk to someone that has a different perspective, and you're able to say, like, you're not always going to be able to balance personal and professional life, but there's ways to integrate it, and you can work together as a team even, to support each other, keep each other accountable, and give that safe space to be able to discuss all that. So that has been really helpful. We struggled with the meeting rhythms. A lot of the times we didn't stay focused. So really setting up an agenda of what you're going to talk about every week. So we have our team meetings every Mondays, every Fridays. And so we set up an agenda. We definitely wanted it to be more intentional as well. So we discussed like wellness for the team as well. In the name Empower, we want to make sure that we're empowering our team members as well, not just our clients. The quarterly sprint plannings have helped us organize our thoughts as well, because we just had a list of so many things that we wanted to get done that it was overwhelming that we weren't seeing it get done quick enough. So with the quarterly sprint planning, it at least breaks it down, and we all have a role, and we all know what number we have to hit, or what target we have to hit, what metric. And so that has been very helpful as well in planning for the business. I would say we hit all of those. There is definitely more time freed up to focus on growth of the business. It allowed us to really set time to work on the business versus just in the business. And that's really difficult for a lot of owners. And this really keeps us accountable. It keeps us accountable. If you have a team, the whole team is accountable to one another. If you're individual, Hassan, you help with accountability. You remind us of tasks that need to get done, or projects that we're working on. You keep us on our toes. It allowed us to organize our procedures, create structure in the company, really solidify and streamline. And that has been a major part in the company because it affects the whole team, and then it affects our client. That has been a big change as well, an improvement. Smoother workflows as well. Higher performance levels are a really big thing for me, especially. I think that was the biggest improvement for me, both personally and professionally. Really just stepping up and reflecting and making sure that I can be the person for this role. We do want to grow as a company, and so we do want to find clients that are in alignment with our core values, our purpose. We know that with your help, we'll get there. And so we're taking that step by step, as long as we continue to sprint plan and really look at our targets, we'll get there. So that's our next obstacle.